做些带你教啊，神经上头说，做些就是反正你呢，在那的并不没办法，你觉得慢慢的容易的嘛，是别的做些，懂吗？做些上来。
Now the next line says, continue from yesterday's teaching. Please bestow your blessing that deep in my heart that sadness is born, that results from being tired from the world, and all situations are just bringing about suffering and problems. Everything is permeated by problem and suffering, and wherever one looks, it is without any inner substance. There's no nothing of there's no core of meaning behind all the appearance of this world. So realizing this, there's a deep sadness and born in one's heart, a sense of tiredness, being fed up with all this world. Now the next line says, please bestow your blessing that I am of that impatient type to know that no much time is left. And the understanding behind this, that although obviously in this world, within the appearances of this world, we have to deal with certain making plans, and we have ideas and projects. It's unavoidable. However, we know deep in ourselves that there's nothing that we can rely on. Everything is impermanent. And whether all our projects and nice projects turn out well or not, who can say? So understanding this, we ask for the inspiration to really feel of that, be that impatient type, knowing there is no much time left for us to act. Next line says, please give your blessing that I might recall the death from the depths of my heart. We have to always be aware of the approaching death. From within our heart, we have to be aware of the fact of life, that death might come any moment. And the time of death is so uncertain that we cannot count on it. And we are well advised to always, at times, to recall that uncertainty of death. And the more we remind ourselves of death during everyday life, the more also our enthusiasm and interest, the sincere interest in the practice of Dharma will grow. So now, please give the blessing that I may gain confidence and trust in the law of karma and cause and result, which indeed is inevitable. And as we see around, we know that countless sentient beings and the compulsory cycle of rebirth are suffering, stricken, and all this suffering and pain that they experience results from bad karmic actions that they have accumulated before, and they're haunted by their various evil minds at the present. And even gaining a human rebirth might result in lots of suffering and problem. And this is nothing but the result and the echo of previous evil deeds of those beings. And when you meet some other people that enjoy wealth and health and influential position and whatever, then this we can understand is the result of a lot of positive mind that they have accumulated before. So in this sense, there's a unerring pattern and system in their cause and result in our own action. Please give the blessing that confidence towards karmic cause and result may grow. Now, what should be the consequence of such an understanding or inspiration? It should be that we try our best to avoid at all times to do bad, and we do as much as we can to avoid every bad action, negative action. And on the other hand, we do not leave pass any chance to do something good, something positive, or practicing Dharma. Now, please bestow your blessing that there will be no hindrances along our path of Dharma. Hindrances of that kind that will prolong our way or make it like a very long way. Now, what are the obstacles? There are three types. There are outer obstacles, inner obstacles, and hidden obstacles. Outer obstacles are very clearly when we have a project, let's say we want to stay in a retreat, and then we just don't get the conditions together. That we either don't have the money, we don't have the financial support to do it, or the place is not available, we don't just get the house to stay in, or we can't get free, can't get off, and there's no time to do it. All of this kind are outer obstacles. So what are inner obstacles, for example? There are those that strike us at the moment when to continue this example, we already sit down and want to practice, we have the conditions. However, then we are falling ill and we have pains all over and so on, that the sickness and pain prevents our practice from being successful. That would be inner obstacles. What are hidden obstacles? Let's say we sit down now in this retreat that we choose and we are in the process of practice. However, from inside we are haunted by the very cross thoughts of hatred, aversion, or we are the thoughts of pride or jealousy, arrogance, and all this. Then those serve as a disturbance of our distract us from the main focus of practice and become a hindrance for us. Those are hidden hindrances. Lama la Yeah, so then it says here that the next one is to ask for the blessing that maybe be able to really feel the enthusiasm towards whatever is our task to fulfill. And he says that whatever we are going to do good, whatever our positive project is, we need to be carried by a joyful workability of mind or like kind of enthusiasm. And then he says, then there are actually different kinds of enthusiasm. And the first one will be such interest that is, comes from a deep respect, seeing the precious chance in whatever we are doing. So carried by this deep veneration towards the project that we are going to do, that positive thing that we are going to do, this appreciation. So it's the appreciative enthusiasm. This is the first type of enthusiasm here. Now, second type of application of enthusiasm, or I would say workability of mind here, is that we apply it continuously, continuous application. And that is, for example, that we took a commitment within an abhisheka to recite a certain number of mantras every day or whatever, and that would be that type of continuous application, which does not mean, as Rinpoche already pointed out the other day, that there couldn't be like a day or one or two of break if we really are too tired or we don't find the time, and there are outer circumstances that prevent us, so there won't result any damage. However, as soon as the outer conditions come together again, we just resume our continuous application. This type of is then the second type of enthusiastic effort. The third type of enthusiasm is the one that tries to complete the task. To complete the task. This is the third type of enthusiasm or workable mind. And here that means that we have set out with an initial limited task. Let's say we have a meditation deity and promise to repeat the mantra of the deity for 100,000 times. As long as we haven't finished that number, we will not stop to pursue this matter. And if we reach the number, then okay, well, we can relax and we can just recite the mantra without bothering about numbers anymore. But as long as we have not, there is still this wish in ourselves. And the same applies for the preliminary practices like the mantra, whether this is 2 or 3 years, or who cares? As long we have the decision that we will do it, and it's the inner urge and the joy to complete that task that drives us along, and this is the third type of enthusiastic effort. Now, then the next is to ask for the blessing, that we may take along the path all the various unfavorable conditions. Unfavorable conditions may be of manifold kind, as there are sickness that befalls us, or we may have strong sadness or suffering that we experience, or even that we are possessed by a lot of disturbing thoughts, mental afflictions. When those things happen, then we should think of all the countless sentient beings throughout the world that have the same type of problem and even worse, and that we imagine to take upon ourselves all their miseries and all their suffering and problems, and that we send out all the positive, the good, which is the seed of further good, and all the happiness and luck and the fortune out to all other sentient beings. Exchanging ourselves with others in this way becomes a means to skillfully take along the path all the unfavorable conditions. Now the next one is, please bestow the blessing, that I may be able to gain self-control and masterhood in concerning the remedy. Means that when we sit down in our exercise, the thought pops up while receiving the thought in awareness, looking at the naked essence of it, the thought will subside at its own place. Same happens to suffering that comes up, the idea, just looking at its essence, it will also subside in its own place. And whatever mental affliction or suffering or thoughts come up, while being receiving them in awareness and looking at them nakedly, they will also just disappear, and there's no further exterior remedy necessary. So we pray for having the inspiration that we're sure, or that within maintaining and nourishing our stream of awareness and mindfulness, that very mindfulness and awareness is exactly self-sufficient to handle everything that pops up within it. There's no other remedy ever needed, and this means gaining masterhood or independency concerning the remedy. Now the next one is to ask for the inspirational power, that in our hearts the non-artificial, the natural devotion or trust is born. And this is what is meant by this, is that when we direct one-pointedly our devotion towards the Guru, or just upon recalling the Guru in our mind, then our eyes will be filled with tears, the hairs of our body stand at edge, and in our heart we know that there's no other hope in this life than exactly you. This is the state of unartificial devotion and interest. May such devotion be born in ourselves. Please bless us. Now, then, please bestow the blessing that we may see face to face the mode of being, reality as it is, which is to ask for the power of insight to understand the nature of one's own mind, Mahamudra. Now, please bestow the blessing that the self-awareness, the self-aware wisdom is awakening in the center of my heart, which means here that the enlightened qualities of the Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings manifest and actualize within the center of our mind itself. That we understand that all those qualities for the Buddha, for the sake of all sentient beings are already present and manifest and actualized within our own mind.